So I'm David Venables, I'm 55. I'm CEO of a company and we're developing treatments for genetic diseases. So outside of work, I'd spend a lot of time out in the hills getting involved in various sporting activities. So I was out doing a route over 4 Munros in the Strathfarrar, Glen Strathfarrar. And I was coming off the last Munro and I had a slip and I ended up falling about 30 metres down the side of the mountain and ended up in a totally uncontrolled fall, tumbled through various rocks and boulders, and obviously on the way down had some fairly major injuries, not just shattering the top of my tibia, but I also shattered my elbow, broke ribs on the left hand side, my shoulder blade, and dislocated my collarbone. So I was sort of stuck on my own with no mobile reception on the side of the mountain. Luckily, within about an hour and a half, another couple coming up the mountain, walking the route that I was descending, came across me and were able to alert the mountain rescue. I was on the mountain for about 7 or 8 hours and got airlifted then into Inverness, into the hospital and into the A&E there, and got well looked after. Got triaged. They were able to pin my elbow, stabilize my leg, and just make sure over the next sort of 24, I can't remember whether it's 24 or 48 hours, just stabilize me. And then got the helicopter down then from Inverness into Glasgow to have the experts look at my leg and start to think about how best to treat that and fix it in the frame. That was end of October, so that was about 4.5 months ago now. So I was in hospital for about 3 weeks in total. So for me, the first part was trying to find a way to get out of hospital, obviously, as quickly as possible. The physios and the nursing staff were all great, but there was obviously certain things I needed to be able to achieve, like being able to get up out of bed and being able to walk and at least show that I could get to the bathroom and get up and down a step. So in my mind, during that 3 weeks, I was trying to do whatever I could to be able to get discharged, because no one wants to be in hospital for a long period of time. And so eventually, because I had the upper body injuries as well, it was obviously quite difficult. I couldn't support myself easily on crutches and things like that. So it was a major milestone just getting home. And then the mindset, once I got home, really what I was thinking about was just trying to, rather than thinking about the big picture and what the journey was going to be like from here to be able to ideally get back in the mountains again, was really start to think about small incremental steps that I could achieve on almost a daily or weekly basis. So small things initially, like being able to get out of bed, being able to take a step, and once I got home, being able to walk across a room, get to the bathroom unaccompanied, and then worked with the physio to think about, well, how do I get out of the house? In fact, the first time I went out of the house, I got out and just walked to the end of our driveway and back, and then suddenly had a total panic because I wasn't quite sure I could actually get up the steps to get back into the house. So sort of working with the physio to learn techniques or ways of being able to do that. And then as you sort of get those gains, that positive reinforcement obviously then motivates you to think about, what's the next thing I can do? Can I get up and down the stairs, for example? Can I get out and actually sit in a car and go for a drive? And so it was really just thinking about small incremental steps to just keep me motivated on the journey. Yeah, so I was pretty determined to give myself the best chance for a full recovery, and I mean, I still don't know exactly what I'll be able to do that I was able to do in the past. Hopefully, quite a lot of things, but even at this stage, that's hard to tell. For me, it was about doing the right things, setting a process that I could go through that would give me the best chance for that full recovery and for success. And for me, that was, I mean, initially it was because my arm was broken. It was getting movement and flexibility back in my arm, so I could sort of clean my teeth with my right hand again rather than my left hand. But when it came to the leg, it was, even when lying in the bed, not being able to walk, it was still trying to clench muscles, still trying to move my leg. At that point, the cage went from above my knee down to my to my ankle, so I couldn't bend my leg in any way, but I could try and lift it. And as soon as I could walk comfortably on crutches, then I was going out, walking to the end of the driveway, walking to the end of the road. I got up to about a mile in walking. It took me about an hour and a half to do that, but I was pretty determined to just keep mobility, keep trying to push it and develop that strength, because I almost felt that if I didn't, then if I didn't work on that and I lost that ability, then my recovery and what I was able to do after the frame came off would be a long way removed from what I could do before. So so it's just having a mindset that if I can keep moving, if I can keep strengthening muscles that are weakening, if I can keep getting flexibility back, that's all going to help me when the cage comes off to get back doing what for me would be normal activity as quickly as possible. For the first 10 weeks, my leg was totally locked, so I was very limited in what I could do, and actually didn't really start doing much physio other than trying to walk and trying to lift my leg. As soon as the ring above my knee came off, then because my knee had been locked straight for 10 weeks, I had no flexibility in it. But I realized that I needed to keep working and pushing that to get the bend back in my knee. And so I immediately set myself the target that when that ring comes off, I'm going to join the gym and I'm going to try and do whatever I can do to work hard at getting that flexibility back. And so that's what I did. So to start with, I was wandering around a gym on 2 crutches, trying to work out what bits of equipment I could use and what I couldn't use. To start with, really all I could do was upper body exercises, which just helped to motivate me, because at least I could do something and start to work on my shoulder and elbow strength and get that recovered. But as I worked with the physios to do more stretching and get gradually sort of every week another 10 degrees of movement back in my leg, then it got to the point where I could sit on or stand on a cross trainer. And that was fairly gentle because it wasn't jarring. It was just doing a sort of a steady motion that was helping to get flexibility. I managed to sit on a rowing machine. To start with, not really bending my leg at all, just using upper body on the rowing machine. But as the weeks went on, I could bend my knee more. I could use that as a way of just pushing the knee and getting the bend back into it. I think the next thing after that, getting onto a bike, was quite difficult because I didn't have enough bend in my knee. But eventually I could get onto a recumbent cycle. And again, that was a nice controlled way of being able to stretch, just doing that circular motion, gradually push the knee and get it gradually more flexible and more fluid. And then the final one was getting on the Stairmaster. And that was, for me, that was a huge achievement, because being able to get up and down stairs with a crutch and hauling yourself up, to then be able to get on a Stairmaster and do that climbing motion and really start to put strength and stress through the knee was just huge. So so those are pretty much the 4 exercises I've been doing. So the rowing machine, the cross trainer, the recumbent bike, and then the stair climber. And just doing that regularly and gradually building up the time I could spend on it has just helped get the strength on my knee, get the flexibility back, and just, again, positive reinforcement as well for me as an individual. A week and a half, hopefully, from now to get my frame off, which I'm really excited by. For me, then, I think, again, in my mind, I don't know. I want to be able to get back out into the mountains, whether I'll be able to do the ultra running and Ironmans I've done in the past, hopefully, but that might be still some way off in the future, or probably a small hill to start with, because part of it is psychological, to just get comfortable of, again, being out in the mountains, because the last time I was in the mountains, I obviously had a catastrophic injury, but also just to test the knee. So I'm not really looking too far ahead, because who knows what's going to be possible. It's more about keeping focused on the process, and if I keep doing the right things right, hopefully I'll be able to get close back to where I was. So the next thing in my mind is getting the chance to get to a summit, however small.